In the bustling streets of Douala, where the sound of honking cars and the chatter of vendors filled the air, there lived a young woman named Naya. She was as beautiful as the morning sun, with smooth, dark skin that glistened under the Cameroonian sun and a smile that could brighten even the darkest days. Naya was well known in her community for her kindness, elegance, and intelligence. Every morning, she would walk to her job at a fashion boutique in Boma, headphones in her ears, music filling her soul. On one fateful evening, as the sun began to set, casting a warm golden glow over the city, Naya finished her shift and began her walk home, as she always did. With her favorite music playing in her ears, she felt at peace, humming softly to herself. The streets were busy with people rushing to catch taxis or motorbikes, locally known as bensikin. Naya was lost in the rhythm of the music, her mind wandering to her plans for the weekend, when suddenly, out of nowhere, a motorbike sped by. Before she could react, the rider snatched her handbag from her shoulder. The force nearly knocked her off her feet as the bike roared down the street, disappearing into the traffic. Stunned, Naya stood frozen for a moment, trying to process what had just happened. Her heart raced, her breath came in short gasps, and panic set in. In that bag were all her important documents, her ID card, bank cards, house keys, and even a significant amount of money she had saved to pay her rent. "Thief!" She managed to scream, but her voice was lost in the noise of the street. People glanced her way, but no one made an effort to chase the thief. Tears welled up in Naya's eyes as she clutched her empty shoulder, feeling utterly helpless. Just as she was about to break down, a voice called out to her, "Are you okay, madam? I saw what happened." Naya turned to see a tall, handsome man walking towards her. His name was Boma, though Naya didn't know it yet. He had smooth, dark skin, neatly trimmed hair, and a calm, reassuring presence that made her feel safe, even in her panic. "I couldn't stop him," Boma said, slightly out of breath, as if he had tried to chase the thief but failed. "But don't worry, I'll help you. We need to report this to the police so they can track him down. The sooner we do, the better." Naya, still shaken, nodded. She felt a wave of relief wash over her. Finally, someone was willing to help. Boma reached out gently and said, "Come, let me take you to the police station. It's not far from here." Naya hesitated for a moment. She didn't know this man, but there was something about this calm demeanor that made her feel she could trust him. Besides, she had no other options. Her documents were gone, and she needed them back desperately. "Thank you," Naya said softly, her voice still trembling. "I don't know what I would have done without your help." Boma smiled warmly. "Don't mention it. I couldn't just stand by and do nothing." Together, they began walking toward the nearest police station. As they walked, Boma asked Naya about herself, trying to comfort her and take her mind off the theft. "So what do you do?" he asked. "I work at a boutique," Naya replied, still glancing around nervously, half expecting the thief to reappear at any moment. "I was just coming back from work when it happened." Boma nodded, listening intently. "You must love fashion then. It suits you. You have a great sense of style." Naya blushed slightly, even though her thoughts were still clouded with worry about her stolen bag. Boma's compliments felt genuine, and she found herself relaxing a little. By the time they reached the police station, Boma was already familiar with much of Naya's life story. He helped her fill out the necessary forms, reporting the theft and describing the incident. The police took down her statements but warned her that it might be difficult to recover the stolen items, especially since the thief had fled on a motorbike. As they left the police station, Boma turned to Naya and said, "I know this is a tough situation, but don't worry, we have reported it, and now we just have to wait and hope for the best. In the meantime, if you need anything at all, please do not hesitate to call me." Naya smiled, grateful for his kindness. "I really appreciate your help today. I don't know what I would have done without you." Boma handed her his phone number. "No problem at all. I'm just glad I could help." For the next few days, Naya couldn't stop thinking about the event. She hoped and prayed that the police would catch the thief and return her belongings, but there was no word from them. During this time, Boma called her often to check on her, offering words of encouragement and even offering to help her replace some of the stolen items. Thanks for listening this far. If you enjoy the story, please click the like button, leave your comments, click on the share button and share with your contacts. Also, please subscribe and turn on your post notification for further videos. Thank you. Now, back to the story. Their conversations grew longer and more frequent. Naya began to look forward to Boma's calls. He was charming, kind, and always seemed to know the right thing to say. Little by little, Naya's initial wariness of him faded. She started to think of him as a friend, and perhaps even more than that. What Naya didn't know, however, was that Boma had a secret. He had orchestrated the entire robbery. It was all part of his plan to meet her, to be her savior, and to win her trust. Boma had seen Naya before, many times in fact. He had admired her from afar, for months, but she had never noticed him, so he devised a plan to get her attention. It had been Boma who had hired the Bentikin rider to snatch Naya's bag that evening. He had instructed the rider to disappear into the busy streets, knowing that he would then swoop in and appear as her hero. And his plan was working perfectly. Naya trusted him now, and their bond was growing stronger with each passing day. One evening, Boma invited Naya out for dinner to lift her spirits. They went to a cozy restaurant by the waterfront, and as they sat by the candlelight table, Naya felt more comfortable with him than ever. They talked and laughed, sharing stories of their childhoods and dreams for the future. There was an undeniable chemistry between them. Over time, Boma's true intentions became clear to Naya, but not in the way he feared. She began to realize that he wasn't just helping her out of kindness, he had genuine feelings for her. And slowly, Naya found herself falling for him too. She had been hurt before, but Boma's consistent care and affection made her believe in love again. Months passed and their relationship blossomed. Boma proposed to Naya on a starry night by the same waterfront where they had shared their first dinner. Overwhelmed with happiness, Naya said yes, believing that fate had brought her kind and loving partner. They married in a beautiful traditional ceremony, surrounded by family and friends. Naya felt like the luckiest woman in the world. She had found love when she least expected it, after what had been one of the most traumatic days of her life. However, as the years went by, Boma couldn't escape the guilt that gnawed at him. His love for Naya was real, but the foundation of their relationship was built on a lie. Every time he looked at her, he was reminded of the deception that had brought them together. He couldn't shake the feeling that his actions, however well-intentioned, had been wrong. One evening, after years of marriage and with a child on the way, Boma could no longer keep the truth from Naya. His conscience weighed too heavily on him. "Naya, there is something I need to tell you," Boma said, his voice thick with emotion. Naya looked at him, sensing the seriousness in his tone. "What is it, Boma?" Boma took a deep breath and confessed everything: the staged robbery, his plan to win her trust, and how it had all been orchestrated from the beginning. Naya's world shattered in that moment. She felt like the ground beneath her had pulled away. The man she loved, the father of her child, had deceived her in the most cruel way. Tears welled up in her eyes as she struggled to understand how the person she had trusted the most could betray her so deeply. "You planned it all?" Naya said, her voice trembling. "Everything we have was built on a lie?" Boma's eyes were filled with regret. "Yes, Naya, I did it to get close to you, but my love for you is real. I never meant to hurt you. Please believe me." Naya was silent for a long time, her heart torn between anger and sorrow, but deep down, she knew that Boma's love for her was genuine. His care, his support, his tenderness over the years, it had all been real. She had seen it in his actions, in the way he had been there for her through every challenge. After a long silence, Naya finally spoke. "What you did was wrong, Boma. You betrayed my trust in the worst way, but I see the man you have become. You've been a good husband, and I know you love me." She paused, wiping away her tears. "I can't forgive you easily, but I'm willing to work through this. I just need time." Boma nodded his head, his heart heavy with both relief and guilt. He knew that it would take time to rebuild her trust, but he was willing to do whatever it took. In the end, Naya chose to give their marriage a chance. It wasn't easy, but with time, love, and patience, they rebuilt their relationship on a foundation of honesty and trust. Boma, having learned from his mistakes, spent the rest of his life proving that his love for Naya was true. Though their story began with deception, it ultimately became one of redemption, growth, and the enduring power of love. The moral of the story is that deception may get you where you want temporarily, but true love and trust are built on honesty and transparency. Lies, no matter how well-intentioned, will eventually unravel. I hope you love the story, and if you do, please leave your comments in the comment section telling me what story you would like to hear next. Please click the subscribe button, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!